had a wonderful relationship with them. We have always complied immediately with anything ever asked of us, and clearly you can see we treat their property with great reverence and great respect. You know what I mean? It would be different if they own Star Trek and we make a mockery of Star Trek. You know what I mean? Or somehow make it look bad or reflect poorly on it. But we're doing anything but that. In fact, I have anime fans of my voice acting work who go and watch the original series of Star Trek because of our show. In other words, we're actually generating viewers for their original series because of our series. So I'm optimistic. I'm going to remain optimistic. And I would like you guys to be optimistic with me. Because I can tell you this, CBS certainly appreciates that we love Star Trek, right? They wish no ill will on the people that are doing it right. They don't want to hurt people that love their show and that spend their passion, their skill, and their time. You know what I mean? Expressing love to they don't want to hurt those people. But they do want to be very clear about what you can't do. And so I believe their hand was forced, and ever since the guidelines came down, we have all, if you follow us on social media, if you're part of Star Trek Continues on Facebook, you will see that we, across the board, publicly state that we support CBS. We support completely that it is their property and they can do with it as they want. We support their decisions in everything. Another important thing to remember is that at the bottom of the guidelines, it says CBS reserves the right to enforce these however they see fit. What's that mean? It means it's their property and they can enforce it how they see fit. So I'm going to remain optimistic.
Thank you.
I hope you will as well. Yes?
What's your favorite episode of the original series?
My favorite episode of the original series, don't judge me. Okay?
I haven't seen that one.
It's a very obscure one. But I love it, and I'll even tell you why I love it. It was a 3rd season episode, and it was called Requiem for Methuselah. And it was the one with Raina, the android girl, and Mr. Flint, the old man who turned out to be Brahms and Solomon and Da Vinci and all those famous men through history. And Kirk fell in love with that android girl. I loved it. You know why I loved it? I loved it because of the last scene of the episode. When you're in Kirk's quarters and he's sitting there at his desk and he looks like he's been so badly beaten up emotionally. And he acknowledges how poorly he behaved. You remember that? Anybody? For the first time, you saw Captain Kirk acknowledge that he screwed up big time. Oh my gosh, he's human after all, right? Oh my goodness, he actually makes mistakes. I love that. It resonated with me. So much so that our 4th episode, anybody that's seen all of our episodes, remember our 4th episode, The White Iris, where Kirk is haunted by ghosts from his past? Was born out of that episode and wanting to portray a side of Captain Kirk that is flawed, that makes mistakes, that feels guilt and shame that he doesn't deal with, that he represses like many of us do. So I wanted to actually, explore that other side of this character. And it was because of that episode. I love that episode. We are going to, I know that there are a lot of anime fans in the room, so we're going to morph into a Q&A session. You guys are welcome. I want you to be here. We'll talk about anything Star Trek, anime, music, anything you want. but we're going to kind of morph in. So anybody that's got a question about voice acting or anything, don't be shy. Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh, so whenever you were working on DBZ as Broly,
Yeah.
after watching some interviews with Sean Schemmel, did you ever have any fainting spells?
He said after working on Dragonball Z as Broly, and then watching some interviews with Sean Schemmel, did I ever have any fainting spells? Apparently, Sean loves to tell a story about yelling and screaming and fighting so much in DBZ that he actually passed out in the booth once. I have never passed out, but I wish I had. I think there are several times that it would have been much easier to pass out than to just keep yelling Kakarot for 15 minutes. Question? Yes. Here, let's let everybody hear your question.
So you voiced Uncle Qrow in RWBY, correct? So what was your favorite part of, how was it working with Rooster Teeth and the cast and producing RWBY?
I didn't know anything about RWBY. I knew nothing about it because, as you know, it's an independent production, right? Rooster Teeth is their own kind of company. I work with Funimation and Viz and Bank Zoom and all these different companies, but I didn't even know who Rooster Teeth was. I was at a convention in Australia, and Rooster Teeth was there promoting RWBY. I didn't know who they were. They came up to me one day and they said, "Hey, want to introduce ourselves. We really like your work." And I said, "Thank you very much. It's nice to meet you." And they said, "This is some of our work." And they showed me an iPad with some pictures from RWBY, from some animation stills. And I was going through it, and I'm like, wow, this is really beautiful. It's amazing. And they took my contact information. And a few weeks after we got back from Australia, they called me and they said, "Hey, you want to play a character in RWBY?" And I was like, "Sure. Okay." So they sent me the scripts and a picture of Qrow, and I recorded the lines all alone in my studio at my house. So in other words, I never met them. The other actors, I had no idea what I was doing. I would look at a line of dialogue and it would say, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Okay, what does that mean?
Wow.
Who am I talking to? What's the intent behind it, right?" So I would record 2 or 3 versions of that line with different intentions, different volumes, and send it to them. For instance, if you saw the line, "What are you doing here?" Okay, if I was talking to her, and she and I have a long history of a rivalry, and I see her, perhaps the line would read, "What are you doing here?" Right? If somebody just walked in the back who wasn't supposed to be here, the line might read, "What are you doing here?" Right? Same line, completely different reading. If somebody came in and they were supposed to be somewhere else, the line might read, "What are you doing here?" See the inflection difference? In other words, you're supposed to be somewhere else. What are you doing here? So how do you know which one's right? So I would record different versions, send them all the versions, and then they would choose the one they like. But I've really enjoyed working with them. I'm having a great time. They just sent me all the scripts for season 4. So, yeah, you want to read them? Supper! I need to get started recording those right away. Question? Yes. My little Haruhi. Don't use those dirty boy words. Your no daddy doesn't like it. You're a hero to poor people, you know. Long live the poor. Wait, let's see what your question is.
Okay, so in the anime, they kind of ended it, or high school anime. I know in the comic series, Haruhi and Tamaki got married, but we didn't get to see that in the series. Could you I wanted to ask you if you could propose to the audience as if they're Haruhi and Tamaki.
Oh my No. What? Worst question ever. You know what? I wish they had made more of that show. I'm sure there are a lot of people in this room who have no idea what the heck we're talking about. But there is an anime series called Ouran, O-U-R-A-N, Ouran High School Host Club. And it is a wonderful show. You should check it out. It's a lot of fun, great characters. There was only one season of it, even though the manga continued. And personally, I would love to see more. If I were a rich guy, I would totally spend my own money to make another season of Ouran High School Host Club. Because the manga is really great. Haruhi goes off to college, I think, and Tamaki doesn't want the host club broken up, so he makes them all move to Harvard. I love it so much. Oh my god. But I can't even imagine how Tamaki would propose to anyone. He'd probably use some of the same lines he used in the host club. But I have to think on that one a little bit. Question? Yes, my dear. It is kind of like a life question? Yeah. I like life questions. They're better than death questions. That's for sure. Oh, thank you. What's your question, sweetie?
So I am in my senior year of high school, and we're in the college application process, and all family members are like, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, I don't know yet. And so I'm really working hard towards the college of my choice and all that. And sometimes how you feel like I can't do this. This is impossible. How do you keep that positivity up?
That is a good life question, isn't it? You know what? My encouragement to you and to everybody else that's 17 or 18 and being ready to go into college and feeling the pressure is this. You ready? Relax. It's nowhere near as dire as you think it is. Okay? The adults in the room will tell you, none of us knew what the hell we were doing. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. You hear that? These are not paid representatives. That's real. None of us knew what the heck we were doing when we were 17 or 18 or 19 or 20 or maybe 21 or 22. But here's the deal. Or 30. But here's the thing. It's okay. Relax. There's plenty of time. Yeah, there's plenty of time. Plenty of time. Ask me what I was doing when did I know what I wanted to do in college? No. I knew things I loved. I loved making films. So I thought maybe I'll go into film production, learn about film. But I loved music. But I loved acting. I loved a lot of things. Your first couple of years are going to be general ed kind of stuff anyway. You don't need to decide right now. And it's okay. You have plenty of time. Relax. Take a deep breath. And enjoy where you are. Tell your family I said that too. Okay? Because they don't need to be putting pressure on you to pick something. Because you know what? If you pick something you hate because you feel pressure, you will regret it for years. You hear those people clapping? Those are people that made some choices that they regretted. I know people that have spent 5 or 10 years in a vocation they freaking hate because they were I gotta make a decision. They make one, and then they end up loathing it. And it makes their life miserable. Like, how the hell do I get out of this? What did I do? Why did I feel like I had to choose? You don't. Relax, okay? What? Can you have a hug? Yes. Come here. Come here. You gotta stand up. Correct. That should be somebody's ringtone. Yeah, man.
Is there any role that you auditioned for possibly that you didn't get?
Oh,
that,
like 1,000.
like
Are there
well,
any
which
roles I auditioned for that I
you
didn't
didn't
get?
get that
The
you
list is
wanted
long.
that you wanted?
That I wanted? All of them, of course.
Oh,
Of course.
okay.
You know what? For every role that I audition for that I get, there are probably 50 that I auditioned for that I didn't get.
Okay.
That's just the nature of the business, you know? I've auditioned for a lot of things that I would love to have been a part of, and I just didn't get them.
Failure is a part of success.
Thank you. That is true. You got it. You have to fail to appreciate success, for sure. And you will fail. We all will. If you haven't yet, just get ready. It's coming. Okay? But yeah, there were a lot of shows. I really, you know what? And I didn't get cast for a lot of different reasons. Most predominantly, probably because the director didn't think I was the best one for the role. But there have been other things like, anybody in here know Inuyasha?
Sort
Or
of.
Death Note? You know, I really wanted to be in both of those. And in fact, the producer of Inuyasha wanted me to play one of the main bad guys in Inuyasha until the production was taken to Canada. Did you know that Inuyasha was recorded in Canada? Yeah. You will not hear one American on that show. Because part of the deal with bringing a show to Canada is Canada says, okay, we'll give you a really good deal on recording studios, and we'll give you a really good price on doing it here, but you have to use our people. That's the trade. So Death Note, I wanted to be a part of that, but I couldn't because it ended up being recorded in Canada. Other shows, you know, there have been some characters that I actually did play for a while, and then I lost them for reasons, you know, that were beyond my control. Anybody in here remember a show called Gurren Lagann? Yeah. That show was originally being dubbed by ADV in Houston, and I was playing a character named Viral. Oh yeah, we had recorded like 8 or 10 episodes already, but then ADV went out of business.
Oh.
And all of the licenses that they owned were gone, and they were back up for grabs. And Bang Zoom in Los Angeles grabbed up the license, and they recast it and started over. That's why you will never hear me as Hero. Anyone here know a show called Sergeant Frog? I love Sergeant Frog. I was Sergeant Frog. I played Qrow long before my little brother Todd. ADV in Houston had the rights to Sergeant Frog, and we had probably recorded 20 episodes. I was loving it. I loved that show. And then ADV went under, license went up for grabs, Funimation grabbed it up and recast it. So there are a lot of variables and factors for not getting cast, and there are tons of roles that I would love to have played, but I didn't get the chance. And you know what? You can either focus on the things you don't have, or you can focus on the blessings that you do have. And I would encourage all of you, there's another little life lesson here, I would encourage all of you that you have 1,000 times more things to be thankful for than you do to be miserable about. Now, I don't know your life, okay? I don't know. But I would bet you if you started making a list. But remember, if you do make that list, you have to put things on the list like air, sight, legs. I'm not joking. Did you buy your legs? Did you pay for the oxygen that's in your lungs right now? No, that's a gift. We have so many things to be thankful for on our worst day. You have so many things to be thankful for. And you know what the biggest thing you have to be thankful for is? Tomorrow. That the sun is going to come up tomorrow, and it will be a new day, and anything is possible. Anything could happen tomorrow. I know, sing it. A little Annie fan over here. But I learned a valuable lesson. Instead of focusing on, dang it, I didn't get that role. I learned a couple of years ago that I really needed to focus more on being grateful for what I did have. So much so, it was New Year, New Year's resolution. A couple of years ago, it was New Year's Day, and everyone's talking about what's your resolution? What's your resolution? And I didn't have any. And I was thinking about what should my resolution be, and I decided that my resolution should be that I should be more grateful. I should try to practice gratitude more instead of being irritated and aggravated about what I don't have or didn't get. So I was thinking about, okay, how do I do that, right? How do you physically accomplish being more grateful or reminding yourself to be more grateful? And then it hit me. How do I remind myself to do anything? Set an alarm. So every day, in fact, you just heard it, I think, a minute ago. Every day, my alarm goes off at noon, no matter where I am, on an airplane, in a recording studio, anywhere, my alarm goes off. And it's for no purpose but to remind me to stop and say just a little prayer of thanks, of gratitude for where I am, and who I know, and my people in my life, and the opportunities that I've been given, and any health I may have, or any of 1,000 things. Just to contemplate and reflect for just 10 seconds and be grateful. And I would encourage you guys to try it. Set a gratitude alarm. It'll change your day. I've had people write me. I've had fans write me, and they said, I set an alarm, and I was having the crappiest day, and my alarm went off, and I thought, uh-oh. And I stopped, and I thought about what that alarm was set for, and the whole rest of my day changed. The whole trajectory of my day changed. So try it. I think you'll enjoy it. I'll bet that person in the very back thinks I would never in a million years call on him. Oh, it's the Joker! Okay, hit me. What's your question?
So, I want to be an actor.
Trust me, you already are.
So my question is, where exactly would I go to get into voice acting?
That's a great question. That really is, because I know that there are a lot of people that probably want to know that answer. So thank you for asking. If you're interested in voice acting, there are only a couple of things that you really need to know or do. Unfortunately, they're not that easy, but there are only a couple. The first one is voice acting is about acting. It's not about voice. Now, there are probably a lot of people in the room, including my dear friend back here, who can change their voice and imitate people they know on television, make funny voices, and that's really cool. But that's not acting. It's imitation, right? That's a great skill, don't get me wrong. But that's not what voice acting is. Voice acting is basically playing a character just like you would if you were in a stage play or in a movie. The only difference is nobody can see what you're doing. All they have is what they hear you doing. And that's a completely different set of skills, isn't it? I was talking yesterday at RIT. I was telling the students there, if I were on stage, if I were doing a stage play, right? And you're the audience, and I walk out on stage without ever saying a word, I walk out, and you immediately start assessing who I am as a character based on what? My costume, right? My costume's going to communicate what kind of character this person is. My body language, right? Or don't have to speak. Oh my gosh, he's injured. Or what a cocky jerk. Right? How about gestures? How about the way my gesture? How about facial expressions? I could walk on and go. Or I could walk and go. Without saying a word. All of these visual communications that tell you what kind of character I am. With voice acting, bye-bye. You have none of that. So you have to learn to communicate through your voice and play a role. It is acting at its core. Every voice actor I know 100 voice actors personally, and I can think of 2 that never had any acting, stage, theatrical experience or background before they got into voice acting. The other 98 have like degrees in theater and have spent years studying and auditioning and performing to develop their skills as an actor. Several of them, Dr. McCoy, who plays, Chuck Huber, who plays Dr. McCoy in my series, he's a voice actor. He lives in Dallas, and you know what? He's constantly in stage plays in Dallas. He's still doing that. A lot of voice actors are doing other things, acting-related jobs. Voice acting is just another form of acting. So, first point, get as much experience as you can as an actor. Audition for school productions, church productions, community theater. There are plenty of opportunities. The second thing is, and I know this is not what everybody wants to hear, but it's just the reality. You have to be where the work is. You have to be in a place where the particular work you're looking for is prevalent. Now, if you wanted to fix cars, you could probably get a job anywhere, right? Because cars are everywhere. People everywhere people live, they have cars they need them fixed, right? So no matter how big or small the town, you could probably find work fixing cars. That's good, right? Good for you. That's a great opportunity. Anywhere you can do that job. But if you want to talk about voice acting, there are only a handful of places where that kind of work is done. Los Angeles, New York City a little bit, Houston, Dallas, Vancouver. And that's about it. So, I've often said that if I wanted to be a country western singer, where would I go? That didn't take long, did it? Nashville, country music capital of the world. Maybe Texas or maybe Austin. But predominantly, there is a place or a few places where certain things happen, where the most opportunity is. Now, for the parents in the room, I will make this disclaimer. You young people that want to get involved in voice acting, don't get this star in your eye kind of idea that you're gonna jet off to Dallas and you're gonna become a star at Funimation. Get yourself trained to make a living to pay your bills. Don't be irresponsible. Now, I'm not talking about doing something, with your whole life. I'm just saying figure out a way to pay your bills while you're trying to pursue your goal. Okay? Don't just, I know people who literally packed up their car and drove to Dallas, thinking that they were going to walk into the lobby of Funimation and be discovered as the next big voice acting star. Well, guess what? I have 2 things to tell you. Number 1, that will never happen. And number 2, voice actors don't make a lot of money. Some of the most well-known voice actors that you know, that if I were to say their name, we all know, we don't make a lot of money at voice acting. The trade-off is we love what we do, and it's really fun. But it doesn't pay a ton of money. And that's often a decision you have to make, isn't it? Do I want to make lots of money, or do I want to do something I love? Right? If you're lucky, there are maybe 0.2% of the people in this world that actually make tons of money doing something they love. It's rare. But if I had to encourage you in one way or the other, I would encourage you to find something that you love and do that. If you don't make a ton of money, it's okay. Money's overrated. I know people that don't have it don't believe that. But trust me, or watch television, all the people that have tons of money, and what are they doing? ODing on drugs, killing themselves, falling to pieces. But wait a minute. Look at all the money they have. Look at all the fame, whatever. So what do we learn? Money doesn't equal happiness. 10-year-old could get that. Don't we get that? That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Fame doesn't equal happiness. Celebrity, money doesn't equal happiness. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? You see, how many of those documentaries do we have to see about people that attain everything that people think they want to make them happy, and they weren't happy? They got everything they ever wanted, and they were miserable. Learn from that. Find something that gives you joy, and do that. And it doesn't have to be something glamorous. I've seen people that love fixing engines. Do that. I've seen people that you know what I love? I love vacuuming floors. I love making those little sharp teeth lines on the carpet with the vacuum cleaner. It's a simple thing, but I love it. I love mowing the lawn and looking behind you and seeing the cool little trail of cut grass that you made, right? And you can like make little designs. And you go around the shrubs and you try to just catch the edge of the grass. It's fun. What? So my point is it doesn't have to be something glamorous. If there are people right now going, well, I can't sing, I can't voice act, and I can't, dance, and I'm not a good artist. So what? It doesn't have to be something flashy, something that you enjoy. Maybe you enjoy cutting hair, maybe you enjoy styling hair, maybe you enjoy any number of things. I'm going to say this, I've said it a million times, and I'm going to say it until I die. If you've heard it on other videos, I apologize, but I think it bears repeating. You will be infinitely happier making $30,000 a year doing something you love than you will ever be making $300,000 a year doing something you hate. It will make the whole rest of your life miserable. I had a dad who hated his job. And he would go off to the job he hated, and he would come back at the end of the day, and he was miserable to live with. Because not only did he hate his job, but he knew he was going back the next day. And there just was no end in sight, So he made everybody's lives around him miserable too. I would want for each of you to find something that you enjoy and find a way to just pay your bills and do that. Question? Sorry, I get so heavy, don't we? Yes. Wow, that was a quick segue to free, wasn't it? I love Dean Angel. In fact, Dark Mousy was one of the first characters I played that I really kind of locked into. And thought, wow, this guy is really cool. And I loved his purple hair. And I loved his personality. And I wish I'd loved for there to be more Dean Angel. I was telling a friend of mine the other day, you need to check out Dean Angel, because it's awesome. I'd love there to be more, and I would do it in a heartbeat if there ever was. As far as Rin Matsuoka, what's favorite line? Oh my gosh. Any line where he trashes Haru is fine with me. Okay, wait a minute. Did you see the swim race? Okay, guys, you need to go home and check this out. So, for those of you that are like, what is he talking about? I did this show called Free. It's about a boys' swimming team, high school swimming team. And Todd Habercorn was my rival. I would call him a frenemy, right? He was a longtime friend, but we were also rivals because of the swimming team. Speaking of the devil, here comes Rin Matsuoka right now. Yay! So when Funimation was dubbing this show, they contacted me and Todd and they said, hey, we have an idea for a promotion. Would you two guys be willing to have a swimming race? Like actually go to a pool and we'll videotape you guys racing. And I said, sure. And Todd said, sure. Okay, so after I said yes, I started thinking, this could go either way. I started thinking, I am much more athletic than Todd. It's not an insult, it's just a fact. I've played sports my whole life. I'm much more athletically inclined. Todd has not done that. It's not an insult, it's just a fact. But Todd's 20 years younger than I am, too. And he's in great shape. He works out all the time. He's in great shape. And he's 20 years younger than me. Just on age alone, he could beat me, right? I mean, like, what if he's, like, really in good shape, right? And I'm just old guy pooping out in the shallow end of the swimming pool, right? So I started thinking, man, this could go either way. I could win or I could lose, but I said yes. So we'll do it. So we went to the swimming pool, and Funimation sent a camera team, and the race was it was an Olympic pool. It was an Olympic-sized pool, and it was up and back. So 2 lengths, right? Go watch the video. It's on YouTube, and check that out and see who won. Yes. Yes. I hope so. Oh my gosh, are you a new Tuare fan? That guy's name was Banawi, wasn't it? Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a great show. I hope so. In fact, you know what? I'm working on a lot of new things right now. And I made a list so that I wouldn't forget. Because usually somebody says, what are you working on right now? And so I made a list. So these are the things that I've done lately, and some of them are brand new. And I'm just going to run through it really quick, okay? You probably won't even recognize some of them, but some of you may. Unbreakable Machine Doll, Space Dandy, Carnival, Tokyo Raven, Maji, Sailor Moon, Rock Lee, Free, Brothers Conflict. Oh my gosh, have you seen Brothers Conflict? My character is such a jerk. I love him so much. Durarara, Black Butler, Heroic Legend of Arslan, Garo, Rage of Bahamut, Show by Rock, fun show. RWBY, Lord Marksman of Venatus, Ladybug, God Eater, it's a video game. I think you eat gods. Not sure, that'd be my guess. Escaflowne, World of Winx, Tonari, Utaware, where did they go? Anti-Gang, Alt Zero, Pillars of Eternity, Fairy Tail. I'm very excited to finally be able to say that I'm working on Fairy Tail, because I've wanted to work on that show for so long. And every time I ask Todd, Todd, why don't you put in a good word? He'll go, okay. So, and then nothing ever happens. So I don't think he ever put in a good word. Strike Witches. I like this. Charlotte Digimon. The new Digimon I'm playing. What's the character? Matt? I'm playing Matt. Rio Rainbow Gate. Charger Girl Judah-chan. World of Warcraft. Asterix War. Star Trek Online. Okay, you know why that's huge, you guys? Even if you don't play it. This is why that's huge. all of this time and money and effort and love and passion and sweat that I've poured into Star Trek Continues, it ain't licensed. It's just a fan show. Star Trek Online is a CBS licensed official part of the Star Trek universe. So I'm playing this character in that, and that means that I'm officially part of Star Trek. So the 12-year-old inside is going crazy. The 12-year-old's geeking out. I can't talk about that one yet. Skip beat. Yeah, excited about that one. And somebody told me just today, I didn't know this, on the way over here, somebody told me that I was just announced in the cast of My Hero Academia. So keep an eye out for that as well. Are we out of time? Am I out of time? What am I? Oh, I got 7 minutes. 12 to 1, right? 12 to 1. Okay, 6 minutes. Yes. Localizing for a video game or localizing for an animated. Oh, vocalizing. I said local, like doing it locally. Okay, vocal. There's a difference between voice acting for a video game and voice acting for anime. The main differences, I would say, is anime covers a long period of time. Like, you may be voicing an anime for a year or 2 years, depending on how long the show is. Video games, you're like a day or 2 or 3 at the most. It's done. Start to finish. Another thing about difference is that in a video game, you have different possible outcomes, right? Depending on what choices the player makes or what happens. Does the guy die? Does he go further? Does he meet this guy? Does he make it to the end? You have to record all of those possibilities. And then finally, video games, as you would imagine, involve a lot of in-game sounds. Fighting, yelling, falling from 10 feet, falling from 30 feet, getting punched in the gut, getting punched in the face, getting kicked in the face, kicking somebody else in the face. All the different variations you have to record. So a very large portion of a video game recording is all of those in-game sounds. And you can't just record like one, like a short punch. You can't just go, yeah. You can't just record one, and then you're the player, right? You're playing this game, and every time you punch, like, that'll get annoying really fast, right? Yeah. So you have to record like, just variations, so they can mix them up, make it not so annoying. Those are some of the main differences. Let's take one more question, and then we'll be done. And listen, can we do something? I want to invite you guys to come to my autograph table, okay? I want to show Lou Ferrigno how awesome anime fans are. So I'm going to head right back to the table, and I hope you'll come up and say hello. Also, before I forget, I have to tell you this really quick. A lot of you guys wrote me who are going to come to the convention, and you said, are you going to be bringing any of your, are you going to be bringing your concert DVD? A lot of you may or may not know that I've been writing and producing and singing music professionally twice as long as I've been voice acting. And I have a live concert DVD that is a live performance from a convention like this. But it's great video, great music from Fullmetal Alchemist, Dean Angel, Dragonball Z. But there's also something else on the video that I have to tell you about on this DVD. Years ago, when we were recording Fullmetal Alchemist, I fell in love with the show. I was so excited to be a part of it. We were having so much fun. And I wanted to cosplay. So I made up a story whereby a grown man, would be turning into Edward Elric. And then I asked some of the other voice actors if they wanted to do it with me. And they were like, heck yes, we'd love it. So everybody made their own costumes. And we got together one weekend and we shot something called Full Metal Fantasy. It's never been available anywhere, but it's on the concert DVD. It's a live action parody of the voice actors cosplaying as their characters. And here is my exciting portrayal of Edward Elric. So that'll just give you a good idea. So I don't have a lot of them, but I have them at my table. And if you'd love to get one, I'd love to have you have it and sign it for you. So, last question. Is it a good one? Yes. Yeah. Have I ever seen instances in life where something happened that reminded me of something that happened in anime? Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons people love the show so much. Because they see a piece of themselves, or they see a piece of their life, or they relate in some way. Yeah. When I did Fullmetal Alchemist, I tried to find something about it that I related to. And the one thing about Fullmetal that I related to was that my parents divorced when I was young, and my dad left, and Ed's parents separated when he was young, and his dad was gone. So I really connected with that part of Ed. But yeah, you find pieces about any show that remind you in some way that you can identify with or connect with, and I think that helps make for a better performance too. You guys enjoy your day at RocCon. I'm going to head to my table, and I hope to get to meet you. Thank you so much.